Hey, what's going on, YouTube? If you want to get sticky aim like the pros, please watch this video. If it helped at all, comment below. If you guys know any other tips, please comment, like, and subscribe, and all the best, guys. See you in the next one. What's going on, YouTube? Just before we get too far into the video, just so you guys know what you're getting yourselves into, if this is something you need or you don't need, things we're going to go over today is how to set up your settings. This is just the settings in the game, so this can affect console players too. It's not just people that can access DS4 or other type scripts, whatever it may be. How to aim. So again, it's not your traditional way. I'm going to show you actually how to get the most aim assist when you're actually aiming. How to hold your controller. This is just for controller players. I can't really help keyboard and mouse. I'm sorry, it's just not my specialty. If you need to, check out another creator of some sort. And the last part, and I think this is most important, again, people really always overlook this part, is how to build your loadout for the best aim, depending on whether it be an AR, SMG, sniper rifle, whatever it may be. We're going to cover that in this video, okay? So if that helps, keep sticking around, and we'll address some of those things. All right, let's get into a private match. I think that's going to be the best way we can start any of this, actually. Before that, again, the first thing we were going to address was the controller settings. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go into our big old controller settings tab here. And again, if you watch any of my other videos, I love going through this. Always a fun time. So first thing we're going to do is going down to our dead zones. Again, people don't realize and overlook this. Dead zones has got to be probably the biggest factor when it comes to any of this type of stuff. When it comes to time to kill, I think this definitely has the biggest impact when it doesn't come to overclocking a controller or whatever it may be. You know what I'm trying to say? When it comes to just input of a console, this is the thing that will make the biggest factor for you guys, okay? PC, anything, this is going to make the biggest factor of just in-game settings. So what you're going to want to do, guys, is before we even get into minimums, let's go into maximums. So what you start on is a 9.9, which I think is fantastic. A lot of people do enjoy that, but I've actually, again, this is since Verdansk, I've been doing this. I've always set mine to 100. I don't know why. I just find it's like I hit more shots, not even just when I hit more shots, but they seem to do more damage. I win more gunfights. When this is on, I win more gunfights. Simple as that. Then I've rocked throughout the years many different things. I went on 3.3 for a long time. I was on 5.5 for a couple of videos you guys saw a little while ago. 8.8 at one point, and then I mess around and go 0.3 and stuff like that. Something like that. That's what it would look like at one point. That being said, guys, I've noticed that without question, like again, this goes back again to Rebirth Island the first time. I've always had mine at 0.0. I try to get mine as low as possible. I know it sounds weird. People are gonna be like, you're stick drift and this and that. Yeah, it's okay. I've learned to kind of combat in the stick drift. I've actually kind of learned to actually like the stick drift. I know that people are gonna be like, he's fucking insane. What the hell's wrong with this guy? And you'd be right to say so. But the thing is, I find with the stick drift, it sounds weird. If I'm wanting to turn right or the enemies to the right, if my stick drift's already kind of like pulling that way, I know it sounds stupid, it feels like a glide almost to some extent. People are gonna be like, you're crazy and stuff like that. I understand. That's why I'm constantly buying new controllers, but I'm just trying to say, to some extent, a little bit of stick drift, especially on a newer controller, is not going to be the end of the world, guys. Especially if anything, it might make your sense even faster than it normally is. Okay, let's go to sense. Okay, so we're on 2020 at the moment. Don't feel you have to copy this. Okay, I'd use that for precise, like aiming and stuff like that. Again, a lot of people would be like, I'll never be able to play on this. I don't blame you. The big thing is for me when I play on 2020 is my right stick. I don't need to fully move around as much for aiming. It's the only reason that I'm rocking it. But the one thing I would suggest, guys, is if you make this custom, you'll finally be able to unlock this tab here. And I think it comes on 1.25 to start off with or something like that. And so the biggest thing you're going to want to do is put that to 1 so it feels like a normal sense where it's aiming where it should. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. Do that for both tabs, no matter what sense you play on. Go to custom, put it to 1. Then go back to your normal sense, whatever you feel comfortable on. I'm using the ADS multiplier of 1.110 or 1.10. I honestly mean it, guys. This is a huge advantage for a lot of people. Why? Because say I'm in a gunfight with somebody and we both come around a corner and we're both aiming in. I sometimes, not always, if I'm able to control the sense, the ADS will be faster than my opponents. You'll see a lot of people are doing 0.75, anywhere ranging from there. So I'm able to aim faster sometimes in an ADS battle and stuff like that. Again, it comes down to personal preference. Don't feel you have to exactly copy this. A lot of these I'm going to overlook because Again, it can be you playing with it. The ones I would recommend, obviously, dynamic. If you haven't heard this yet, again, welcome to Warzone. Target aim assist, obviously gonna want that on. That's a big help. Black Ops aim assist. A lot of times people have been saying this is nerfed. I think it was nerfed for a little bit. It is definitely back, without question. It's been back for a while, and I'm not ever gonna change that. You guys can just copy these real quick. This would just kind of be your movement settings. Again, if you need to, just pause the video. Yeah, so there we go. We're into controller settings. You guys have it somewhat set up like what I would have my controller set up as. So let's go into a bot lobby. I would say this is probably the biggest help for your aim. A lot of people use for mouses and stuff like that, aim training, whatever it may be. I use this as my aim training if you want to be. So you're going to need the full game installed. I'm just saying that right now. If you are able to, guys, I'm sorry to... the other thing I'd recommend, maybe going into Plunder if you only have Warzone, something like that, where you can kind of just, or Lockdown. Lockdown would be a great option too. So we're going to go into a private match. I'm going to win private match, and then what was the second point? The second point was how to aim, right? How to aim, yeah. So the big part is, what we're going to do is, generally speaking, in old Call of Duties and old multiplayers, which I would say this is still the meta for multiplayers, you're going to want a hard aim, stuff like that. When it comes to Warzone, the coolest part is with the added health, I understand time to kill is at its all-time low. It's so fast to kill somebody now in game. And so the big thing I want to recommend is if you come around a corner, you can slide out, whatever it may be, is bring the white dot. Okay, so the white dot's almost like a cursor. It will have a bit of aim assist, but not much. It's almost just kind of like a static thing that you can kind of just trace around like a mouse, okay? It will have that little bit of like slow down when it gets near an enemy, so it'll be easier than I'm making it sound. But you're not going to want to do this and then bring your orange reticle dot to him. I'd say that's the old way of playing Call of Duty. The new way would be, it's almost like you get the white dot there and then shoot. I'm not saying old pros didn't do this. I'm just trying to say when you watch old SMD tournaments, stuff like that, a lot of people are going to be doing this a lot more. But with Call of Duty being so aim assist oriented, now more than ever, the biggest part is you want your left stick here, the one that you're moving your character around with, that to be constantly moving. So like when I'm running, whatever it may be, when I do this and move in, if I were to just do this, it's going to have some aim assist. But if I'm moving the left stick at the same time, it's going to cause rotational aim assist. Okay, that's the biggest thing ever, guys. Rotational aim assist is what's going to make it where it's like this guy is literally cheating. Like it's like, see, look, I'm using, it has nothing to do with the loadout at this point. It's just a thing that just works, okay? So this can be applied to all weapons, guys. The sniper as well. So the white dot is what we're aiming for. The white dot is what we want to be looking for, and then as simple as just lining it up and then pulling the trigger. It's not a matter of aiming. I feel like that's where a lot of people are losing their gunfights nowadays, is they're trying to like set up the shot and then shoot. You honestly want to like get it where you're on it, shoot. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're honestly almost shooting while you're aiming in to some extent. Like if you can kind of pre-fire like that, that'd be even better. But the biggest thing is just kind of boop, you know what I mean? Kind of track a little bit and shoot. And track, shoot. Again, if you guys are watching, the big thing I'm trying to make sure is the white dot, okay? Just keep your eye on that when you're playing Call of Duty, whatever it may be. Don't be looking around, again, kind of peripheral vision, that type of stuff, but you want to be just dead staring that white dot. You want to just be kind of like, that's your eyes, and you're kind of looking there. Okay, so we got that. We got that down. So the next part would be how to hold the controller, okay, guys? How to hold the controller. I'm going to pull this up real quick. We can get our little zoom in on my beautiful new, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of one of those old lollipops. Remember like the chalky ones? And it gives me the vibe of that. But the thing I want to get to in all of this is, while I'm showing you the controllers, some of them come with back buttons, paddles, whatever it may be. The big thing is, no matter what way you hold your controller, no matter what orientation you play, like loadout wise, or layout, sorry, is you want to keep your right thumb on this right stick the entire time. You don't want to have it where I come off to then I'm going to jump, whatever it may be, right? It puts you at a giant disadvantage. The longest time ago, I watched one of Zealander's videos, one of my all-time favorites, and he was the one that said the thing that makes him so good is that he doesn't take his finger off of this, his thumb off of this, and it's the truth in the matter. Again, I've been so glued, and ever since I've watched that video and tried to apply it, it's been kind of ingrained at this point, is that you want to always have your thumbs on the sticks. Don't ever take them off for a second. So if you, for myself at least, what I did to combat in that, instead of having to, because I used to do this, right? And I'd come over and I forget what you call this. Again, it's like a claw or whatever it is, right? And so you want to do like your kind of quick, I said screw that a long time ago. Again, I play guitar, so I'm used to kind of that position. My hand got too tired. So what I've done is I've made my jump and my slide like my back triggers, and I've made my front triggers the shoot. And I think that's made a huge difference. If anything, guys, what I'm trying to get to in all this and the orientation of your controller would be, keep the fingers on there. Bring, if you guys can, these back triggers to the front. If you guys can get used to that, it will definitely have a faster time to kill in game, obviously. And if you guys can get used to either using your back paddles, which this controller does have, I just never gotten used to it, and then use these top ones if you guys want to use it like I do, or if not, maybe get like a little thing going where you kind of use your, I don't know, something, make a layout of some sort where you can keep that true, where you can keep your fingers on there. The one thing I'll also recommend is these things here, guys. If you look, there's a thing called trigger locks, and so I have mine all the way up. I want to have them like digital triggers. I want to have it where these things can push down as fast as possible. I've never really had these on controllers. I just got a new one, and that's a big factor. If you guys can get digital triggers, I would recommend that. Recommend that anytime, guys, okay? So that's going to be our next segment, would be how to hold the controller. And our very last one, and not least, okay? I don't think this is least. I think, honestly, if I were to be honest, I think this is why I stayed it to the end, because I think this makes the biggest difference. I think you can be the best player in the entire world. I truly believe that. I think you can have the best aim in the entire world. But if you're using a gun that's not built properly, or not even just a matter of not built properly, but just is lacking, let's put it that way, or you're not knowing what you're aiming for when building these guns, then the whole purpose of what we just did is kind of defeated. So I want to set you guys up for success. I want you guys to win more fights, all that type of stuff. So the thing we want to do is when we come into our loadout, whatever it may be, is for an SMG, okay, this is for an SMG. The thing we're going to be aiming for is two things. Aim down sight. The SMGs, that's going to be your biggest thing, is how fast you can aim down the sight. And then two would be how much we can do that without giving up recoil and the damage, okay? That's huge. I know a lot of people will be like, that's obvious and stuff like that, but a lot of people overlook that. It's the truth of the matter, guys. You got to be watching when you're making your gun and stuff like that, is these stats on the left. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, how do you not know this, or why are you talking about this? It's so obvious. Yes, I understand that, but it's overlooked a lot of the time. You got to be looking for what stats it increases, and on the actual attachment, what it actually does, okay? I know my camera's going to be covering it, but the main thing, again, what we're going to be looking for is the aim down sight and the damage, okay? Those are the biggest things. And then if you can control the recoil, if not, add some things on for recoil. Now when we go to ARs and LMGs, whatever it may be, kind of in the same vein, the same, but throw out the aim down sight. You're still going to want that there, and you're still going to have it there, but you're going to want that to not be as drastic as the SMG. You're going to want this to have more of the damage than the ADS at this point, okay? So you want damage to kind of come up because you want that barrel, and I feel like the barrel is always the thing. That or the high grain rounds is always going to give you your biggest damage increase. So when you're coming and you're making an AR, whatever it may be, go through the barrels, and whatever one has the best bullet velocity, recoil, gun control, all that type of stuff, the best stats, whatever it may be, throw that on, and then accommodate around the barrel. See what the gun is needing after the fact, because again, guys, one of those things, people don't realize that when you're building a loadout or whenever it may be, I'll do a sniper too real quick. When you're building a loadout, the thing is, yes, you're building it around the gun, but if you put on one attachment, it's almost like you're building it around that certain attachment you put on it. Like there's people that are really cool in the sense that they'll make a gun like that MCW where they know it has a ridiculous amount of damage, where the damage isn't even really needed at this point because it's just so hard hitting. So they've just made it completely for aim down sight. So it's, like I said, it's the attachment you're kind of wanting to build around, okay? So think of it that way. It's not even just about how to maximize that gun. It's almost like, what do you want to use the gun for? Like, are you wanting to use it in a window and shoot from across the map? That's totally fine, use it, but it's going to be a totally different build than if we're using that while trying to take on 3 people at the same time. I'm not trying to say downplay it, I'm just trying to say you got to build the gun for what you're using it for. And then when it comes to the sniper, again, the big things we're going to be looking for now is the ADS and then the recoil, because the gun is, generally speaking, going to have the damage, especially with this year, the Kar 98, it's going to hit one shot out of the air, it's going to hit one shot with 2 plates. But if somebody has 3 plates, generally speaking, unless, I don't know, you got lucky and you hit a perfect shot, it's not going to, generally speaking, down them on that shot. So the biggest thing is, guys, for this one is you're going to want that ADS and that recoil control so you can hit those shots, because this gun is somewhat, I'm not going to be rude when I say this, crap. No, I mean, it's good. It's a very good gun. It's still fun to use and stuff like that, but compared to the first one, it's nowhere near the same. So again, guys, that's going to be the wrapping up of this video. I've done one of the ones on movement, things like that. That will be to come. Don't think that this was just all that I had to give. This is just for aim. This is aim specific. If this helped at all for you guys, let me know below. If there's still things you're struggling with, let me know. All the best, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.